Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg at Cloudcast Media. You're going to be listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast in our 20th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, 60 years, just doing wonderful things in our community, whether it's food insecurity, whether it's the arts, financial literacy. They're heavily involved in Alzheimer's Association with the homeless, and just great community partners. Honored to have in the studio with us today the founder and CEO of Our Kings, Anya Owensbrown. How you doing, Anya?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing just great. Thanks for coming into the studio. We appreciate it. Joined by my guest co-host, Stella Dillon. She's going to be doing a curiosity ship, better known as an internship at Cloudcast Media, and she is an incoming sophomore at NYU, New York University, and she's got a question for you right out of the gate.
Yeah.
What is the mission of your organization?
Yeah, so our mission is to uplift, inspire, and celebrate Black boys, and we believe in giving them situations in life that they necessarily don't deserve, that they don't get outside of society.
Right. So what got you into this space? Was it something you've always wanted to do? Were you inspired by something?
Yeah, it was not on my radar to do.
Okay.
But I have two boys at the time, and Michael Brown had just got killed. And on the news and in society and everywhere they were going, there was this constant videos and ideas of them not being worthy as children. And what I noticed as a mother was they were afraid to go outside.
Wow.
They were afraid to go to school. They were afraid to play out in the front. And so what happened to really just signify me saying, okay, it's time, was we got stopped by the police. Well, not necessarily stopped, but they were doing like checks. And my dad was driving because we was heading up to LA, and my brother was in the car, their father was in the car, and they were in the car, and they just freaked out. They were terrified that the police were stopping all the cars and definitely stopping us. So they were screaming. The police had to tell them, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm not here to harm you. This is just what we do. And at that moment, I said, I need to do something so they can have a safe space where they could just be children.
Right. So, and with that, did you work with someone else? No. Anya's going to be coming up with these ideas on her own?
Yeah. So What I started off with was a simple, at the time there was an app called The Meetup. And I just put it out there saying, hey, anybody that has Black boys that want to hang out, we'll go to the park and just kind of play and let them play. And so I put it out there, and a lot of families came.
How interesting.
I wasn't expecting that. And then the unique thing that happened was there was a lot of families of different races that came that are now, have children of mixed race. And they started asking questions on, like, how do they navigate this world for their son? It might have been something that they have seen or heard of, but now they're living it. And so how do you support your son and make sure that he's okay when you know that everybody else is kind of telling him he's not worthy of his life? So that's how it started, and that was in 2014.
That is the grassy roots of grassroots,
Yes.
to say the least in that. And that, how old were your boys in 2014?
Yeah, so they were around 4 and 5, 4 and 6.
And did they, when you started this, did they know why you were starting this?
Yeah, we had that conversation. We had that conversation about them being, again, they were afraid to go outside, afraid to go to school. So those conversations, unfortunately, in Black households are often, giving them the affirmations that they're okay, mommy's here. So when we had the conversation of, hey, do you guys want to meet some new friends and just somewhere to play? They're kids. Of course, they want to just go play at the park with other kids. So
sure.
That's kind of like how it started. And then as it grew, like I said, this is a conversation in Black households that are often, make sure your hands out your pocket, and all those kind of things.
Wow.
So it's something that is a norm, and having those honest conversations with your kids, they actually start very young.
Yeah, and I think, for those who don't live in that world, of course, they go, how is that even possible? Well, yes, it's possible. It's reality.
Yes.
In this. When you started this, and I bet it didn't surprise you at all, but how many other people felt the same way?
Yeah.
Right. Now, the ones who had joined, and not just necessarily black boys, it could be of different races, as you're mentioning, but always boys, though, correct?
Boys, yes.
Not the issue with women as much?
No. So the issue with little girls is a little bit different, but there's a lot of organizations that support girls of color. So when I went looking, again, this wasn't something that I said, hey, I'm going to start, So when I went looking, there was multiple organizations for girls of color to support them in just uplifting them, inspiring them, celebrating them, recognizing them, honoring them, many of those, but not so much for black boys. And then also, too, there was many that were shared spaces, but what my children were dealing with was a different reality than most children. And they were dealing with the fact of just being scared to be them outside, something they can't change, their color of their skin. So that's what created the space.
Right. Stella, got a question for Anya?
Can you talk about the importance of Black Boy Joy and belonging?
Yeah, so Black Boy Joy has been something that is trending. And as a mother of black boys, what it means for me is just them being able to be themselves and be okay with being themselves, whether they want to wear dreads or a flat top, whether they're wearing the latest athlete gear or a suit, just being able to be who they are in their honest truth and being welcomed at school, walking down the street, going into a store without the fear of someone thinking that they're going to do something that they're not, because again, they're children.
Right. So how does that, we know how you can work with your kids, of course, and of course other people's kids. But how do you control what other people think?
So that is something that is obviously been going on for decades, right?
Probably more than that.
Yeah, and we're living in a time where we're seeing that unfold again. So
ridiculous.
Yeah, so for me, it's not about controlling what other people think. It's just giving them the confidence and the awareness about who they are at a young age. So when they turn into adults, they're not trying to find themselves in that space. Being aware of what your power is, being aware of who you are, being okay with who you are. Because if someone's constantly telling you you're not worthy, you tend to not think highly of yourself, and you want to change who you are. So.
Right. So now you've, and you share this with other families and that aspect of it. Is it something that you're reminding your boys and specifically, or the other families, on a constant basis? And I imagine it's not like, hey, I told you once and I'll tell you again in a year. No, that doesn't work that way. Correct? Correct.
So at this time, we are a 501c3, and we do have an organization, and we meet every month for 2 workshops and then a field trip. And it's an enrichment program, but it's also a leadership program and a mentorship program. And the word kings actually stands for kind, intelligent, noble, gifted sons of kings and queens. So it's allowing them to understand, again, their power and that they're royalty. They come from royalty, and we all come from royalty, but they are constantly kind of told that they're not worthy again. So what we do is we meet, and in those spaces, a big part of us is them understanding their history, so they can understand maybe what they hear in school is not necessarily the truth, or your people have done amazing things. So we see the confidence building naturally, but we do. We just had a meeting about this. We do have to sometimes reprogram them, because they come in with this guard up. Sometimes they come in with this fear, because their week at school is totally different than another child's week at school.
Right.
So we have to always kind of remind them, hey, this is your safe space, and we're here for you. We're supporting you, and whether you're rambunctious or whether you're quiet and timid and shy or just, the outgoing one, whatever you are and whoever you are, we're here to support that space.
We'll come back from break, Anya. I want to talk about what growth have you seen in your kids, okay?
Yes.
Which be and what and I would, not to break any HIPAA laws and all that business, would love to have them in the show.
Absolutely.
To talk about how they have perceived all this as well. But think about that aspect of it. I know Stella has some other questions for you when we come back from break with Anya Owensbrown, founder and CEO of Our Kings. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. Listen to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, nation's longest running community podcast, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, continuing to do great things for more than 6 decades. And we'll be right back after this short break.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. Oh, so pleased to have in the studio with us today the founder and CEO of Our Kings, Anya Owensbrown, joined by my guest co-host Stella Dillon. She'll be an incoming sophomore at NYU. Stella, another question.
Can you talk about building strong communities through mentorship and family support?
Yes, so one thing that we do at Our Kings that is unique is we support the family, giving them the guidelines and teaching them how to be their son's advocate. And so that's where the community base comes in, where if they understand the right ways to go about if there's a problem at school or if there's a problem with, the police, they have those tools in place. And so when we build that community and we give them that knowledge as parents, and even like we go into schools and we go and support teachers or staff, what happens is they're now supporting the child, right? And they're seeing the child in a different light. And so that's building that community for that boy. So sometimes the boy might be the only African-American boy in his school or in his classroom, but if we're in there supporting teachers and giving them the guidelines on how to support African-American boys, they now have someone they can go to or lean on and feel safe with as well.
Yeah, I think, and with that, how have they embraced, and we're talking about your kids, now helping out other black, boys as well, and also maybe other kids that are maybe not black, but are facing the same thing?
Yeah, so so we have a program in our program called BBLA, which stands for Big Brother Leadership Academy, and that is for boys that we see leadership skills in. And so we have about 10 boys in that program. We have 30 boys in the whole program. Well, actually, we have 40. We have 40 boys in the whole program. But we have 10 boys in that leadership program, and what they do is they support the boys that are in the program. And they also are the ones that go into the schools and they help, they do a lot of community service. So they also are the ones guiding the workshops sometimes. So they're helping and teaching the younger ones.
Yeah. So I think, with all of this, of course, and we know, if I learned anything about these things, when you help one person, it's not just that person you're helping their entire families, in this area. Where do you see Our Kings 5 months from now, 5 years from now, 5 decades from now?
Yeah, so we just put out a wait list. So for 5 months from now, we just put out a wait list because our new cohort is starting. And the number of people that signed up was very overwhelming to us. Exciting, overwhelming, but very overwhelming. We had 60 boys sign up. So that means there's 60 more boys, but then also families that we're going to be supporting. And so
would you split yourself into 100 people?
Well, I have an amazing team.
Wow.
Yeah, we have an amazing team, and we're actually looking for interns and also hiring, because not only do we have the boys for our program, but we just got into another school district that wants us full time. And so we will be hiring to grow this to make sure that we can support the families, because obviously 60 boys signing up, or 60 families signing up, saying there's a need for it. And so we're very excited about that. And then for 5 years from now, we definitely will be starting our school. We'll have our school up and running by then.
No, that's good. And the school will be with grades?
Yeah, so we'll be starting in preschool, hopefully this September, fingers crossed.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you. We'll start with preschool, and then we would love for it to go up to 12th grade.
Right, and so with that, what will be the subjects that will be taught in almost any school?
Yes,
or
it'll be the normal subjects that will be taught.
Right.
Definitely we'll go deeper and dive deeper into the African American history, and then also just giving the confidence skills, also leadership skills, mentorship skills. And then what we do is we do trades. So a lot of the things that they do in their workshops. So like they learn how to do an oil change very young. Like I think our 7-year-olds just learned how to do an oil change. So
can you come to my house?
So it's kind of we give the tools that you kind of wish you had before you get on your own.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think like when my grandma was in school, they did all this. This was part of the curriculum. And somewhere along the lines, they took it out.
What we did was, and now there's such a push for it right now, when you talk about career pathways and so forth, as auto mechanics make $250,000 a year and plumbers make $150,000. And last I checked, usually someone needs an auto mechanic or a plumber.
They're not going nowhere.
They're not going anywhere in it, and they're great jobs. And of course, the technology certainly is a lot different back in the day. So I think it's terrific. But I think the most important. Here's a question for you. As you've seen this with your kids, talk about how their confidence has grown.
Yeah. So my son is going out for the BSU vice president next year, which is very exciting. And then that's one of my sons. I have 4. And then my other son is going out for the treasurer. So because of the class, he realized he really likes finances, or because of the workshop. And so he's really trying to dive into that. And I see their confidence grown, not just being who they are. I naturally teach that to them at home. So it's something that is natural for them to have that confidence in who they are, be proud of who they are, and don't shy away from who you are. But being part of the brotherhood that Our Kings builds is giving them something where they can walk down the street, and like in their neighborhood there's other kids that participate, so they see each other, they have their own personal handshake, they say what's up to each other, and they know that I'm not alone out here.
Right. Talk about how, as they've learned some of the things through you and Our Kings when you started this, that it has helped them become, more, maybe empathetic's not the right word, but understanding of other issues that are out in the community.
Aware.
Whether it's you focused on black boys, or it's focused on the environment, or it's focused on, girls or whatever, that here's some of the challenges. It's just not me that's facing some of these. It's other groups as well. And that's got to make them more empathetic, I imagine.
Yes, it does make them more aware. It makes them more compassionate for other people, and it makes them have that, like you said, that empathy for people. Just having the knowledge that what's going on out there, and then seeing it, And not only that, but part of their workshop is finding a solution or trying to see if they can come up with a solution for it. So that gives them the awareness, and then it also gives them the solution for the problem. Because a lot of times we talk about the problem, but we don't think of how can we fix the problem.
You are so spot on. A short story, I apologize for this.
You're fine.
When I was working for the Union Tribune, we had an editor that said, listen, it almost addressed exactly like this. We come up with all these problems, but there's no solutions.
Yeah.
So she created a solutions component of the paper.
Yeah.
And say, here's the problem,
Yeah.
but here's the solutions.
Yeah.
We wound up doing a huge community event called Solutions.
Yeah.
And you're spot on. Is that right? Well, we know that's a problem, but if you come up with an idea for it, I don't know. Stella, another question you have for Anya.
So what are the most significant challenges today for those you serve?
I think one of the things that we have to do is the reprogramming every time they come, because we are their safe space, but then when they get back outside, the reality hits again. So that's one of the challenges that we have to constantly serve, is making sure that they understand how to navigate that fear that they have as African-American boys, going into the store, going into school, just simple things that most people don't think about. They have to worry about that space. And so always reprogramming them and letting them know, hey, it's okay. I think that's one of the hardest challenges.
Right. Well, Anya, what a pleasure meeting you. I'll have to thank my friend Debbie Feinberg for teeing us up.
She's my heart.
Did she tell you we went to high school together?
She did not tell me. Well, you know what? She might have. She knows so many people.
Oh, yeah. We reconnected later on a program. I was on the board of Avid, and then she worked for Avid. It's one of the top college prep programs in the country. And I go, that's a name out of the past? Yeah, well, because I went to school with you. Oh,
yeah,
okay. That sounds good. Anyway, she's a delight. I'm going to tell her.
She's a heart.
Yeah.
She's so sweet.
She really is. Promise me we'll get you back on with your boys.
Absolutely.
If that's okay.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll look forward to do that. Once you shout out the website so people can support you.
Yes, our website is ourkings.org.
Very good. Very simple. Wishing you nothing but great success, and I'm looking forward to having you make a return appearance.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You bet. Anya Owensbrown, the founder and CEO of Our Kings. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. This is another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast in our 20th year. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. Stella Dillon, another fine job as a co-host. You got one more to go over here, and then you get a gold star times 4,000 into our audience. We hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.